for me, what is innovative finance or innovations in financing is really about taking a problem-centered lens to providing finance rather than a solution, like a product-centered lens. And so, it's funny because originally I think finance in the early days or in its inception was about solving problems, right? Like we're providing capital to help you grow your business, but somewhere along the way it became extremely productized. And traditional financing, whether you're a venture capital fund or you're a bank or whatever actor you are in the ecosystem, you tend to go back to what you know and providing the exact same blueprint over and over. There's some economies of scale there. But for me, what is innovative financing? It's all about moving beyond the confines of traditional debt, equity, and grants, and centering how you offer financing, whatever form it is, on the needs of the impact enterprise or the recipient of capital, and not on the needs of those who are providing the capital or the financier. Now, this can mean many different things, and it's not easy to do. As Chintan said at the end, innovation is complex. It's very burdensome, and oftentimes it doesn't work. We can talk about that as well later. But for me, I just want to mention a couple different flavors of innovation. There's innovations in the product itself, the customization of finance product. And so I'll just give a few. In my book, there's a lot more if you're interested. In the grants ecosystem, what we're seeing a lot is the emergence and the use of recoverable grants. So it's making grants more debt-like in essence, right? It's saying, we'll give you this money, it's impact-driven, but we believe there should be sustainability driven behind this logic. And so there is this whole emergence in the development sector of international NGOs or INGOs developing what they're calling social venture funds, which are essentially providing recoverable grants. They're using grant dollars, they're putting it out there at very concessional terms with the hope that they only get their money back, right? They may not market it that way, but that's in essence what the strategy is all about. It's impact driven, impact first. And I think that's great. Another example would be making debt more equity-like. And there you see things like revenue-based loans or structured exits, right? Where you tie the payment of the loan to the revenue or the royalties, another name that's used, of the business itself. And therefore, in de facto, you're saying, we do better as you do better, which is what equity is all about, right? But you're not putting on that additional complexity of becoming an owner in the business. So we're seeing, or there was for a time I was seeing a lot more of that, but I've now seen some folks back away because it's been hard to implement in practice. And we can go into that a bit later if you like. And then third, I'm also seeing equity become more debt-like, where we see the use of redeemable shares, which is in essence like upfront committing that your equity investments will have a certain time period at a certain price that it's redeemable, conditioned on certain events taking place, right? And therefore, there's certainty in the mind of the entrepreneur that this will happen at some point. So that's, we're seeing is innovations in the customization of the product. We're also seeing innovations in the structuring of investment vehicles. And I think Chintan sort of mentioned that. The time horizon problem is one of the big ones. So we're seeing more funds, particularly those that are in like social impact driven ecosystems in low and middle income countries with a longer time horizon. Now, this may mean instead of the classic 2 and 10, you structure it as a more like 2 and 15, or even something like that. But also I'm seeing an emergence of more and more open-ended capital vehicle structures in the impact investing ecosystem, or also known as evergreen structures. And then last, also in that same mix, we're seeing more and more blended finance vehicle structures. Now, blended finance is a bigger term because it includes other things like technical assistance and guarantees, but at its purest form, where it really started was using donor or philanthropic capital to crowd in commercial capital to participate in a transaction. And so what blending means often is literally just having 2 or more tranches of capital in the capital structure of a vehicle, one of those tranches being junior or inferior or sub-commercial to the other, and one of them being commercial. But it doesn't necessarily have to work that way. It's really just blending 2 different types of capital together in the structure. So you're seeing, unfortunately, in value, as I mentioned at the beginning, that the value is going down, but in the terms of the quantity, the number of vehicles that are using blended structures is increasing. So I guess I would say that broadly speaking, is like innovations and products, innovations and structures are what for me are innovative financing, and these are some of the flavors that we're seeing in the market.